The night sky over Gaza once again burns bright with fire. The sound of explosions echoes across the city as Israeli airstrikes continue, even while ceasefire talks resume for yet another attempt at peace. For the people living here, every blast, every tremor is a reminder that hope remains fragile. Israel says these latest strikes are part of a targeted operation against Hamas militants, precision attacks on rocket launch sites, command centers, and weapon depots. But local residents tell a different story. They speak of homes destroyed, streets leveled, and families torn apart. Hospitals already overwhelmed are struggling to treat the growing number of wounded as supplies run dangerously low. The official line from the Israeli Defense Forces remains firm. They are responding to rocket fire from Gaza and protecting their citizens. But humanitarian groups and journalists on the ground are warning that the civilian toll is mounting fast. According to recent reports, dozens of people, including children, have lost their lives in the past few days alone. At the same time, diplomatic efforts are once again being pushed forward. Cairo, Doha, and Washington are all involved in trying to mediate a new ceasefire. Meetings are taking place behind closed doors in Egypt, with negotiators from Israel and Hamas sending representatives. Yet, neither side seems ready to make real concessions. Hamas leaders insist that any ceasefire must come with guarantees: full withdrawal of Israeli troops, unrestricted humanitarian aid, and international supervision of the rebuilding process. Israel, on the other hand, refuses to agree to any deal until the remaining hostages are released and Hamas stops launching rockets entirely. Both sides accuse the other of breaking previous ceasefires, and that deep mistrust continues to undermine progress. For ordinary civilians, though, these negotiations feel distant and disconnected from reality. In Gaza, people are more focused on survival, finding food, clean water, and safe shelter for their families. The UN has described the humanitarian situation as beyond catastrophic. Over 1 million people are now displaced, many living in makeshift tents near the southern border. Aid convoys, when they do arrive, often face delays or restrictions. In Israel, there is also growing unease. While many citizens support the military campaign, there are rising voices questioning how long it can continue and at what cost. Families of hostages have been holding protests demanding that the government prioritize negotiations over military action. Inside the Knesset, political divisions are widening as pressure mounts on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to find a sustainable solution. Internationally, the reactions are mixed. The United States continues to express support for Israel's right to defend itself, but has also called for measured restraint. European nations, meanwhile, are increasingly vocal about the need to stop the bombing and allow humanitarian aid into Gaza. The United Nations Security Council has met multiple times but remains deadlocked, unable to pass a binding resolution due to political disagreements. Military analysts say both Israel and Hamas are trapped in a cycle, one where each escalation only makes future peace talks harder. Israel wants to weaken Hamas militarily before any ceasefire is signed. Hamas, on the other hand, wants to show it can resist and survive, to maintain its image as a symbol of Palestinian resistance. In this political and military tug of war, it's the civilians who pay the highest price. Eyewitness accounts coming from the Gaza Strip describe haunting scenes. Parents carrying children through smoke-filled streets, rescuers digging with bare hands to pull people from rubble, and hospitals turning away the wounded because there are no more beds or medicine left. Every image, every report adds to the growing sense that the crisis is spinning out of control. Meanwhile, on the diplomatic front, negotiators say progress is slow but ongoing. There are talks of a temporary pause, perhaps 48 to 72 hours, to allow aid trucks to enter and medical evacuations to take place. But even those short pauses often collapse quickly once fighting resumes. The question remains, how many more cycles of violence and negotiation will it take before a lasting solution emerges? Experts say the answer depends not just on Israel and Hamas, but on regional politics, Egypt's mediation, Qatar's financial influence, and America's diplomatic leverage. Each player has its own agenda, and that makes the path to peace even more complicated. As another night falls over Gaza, the sirens wail again. The streets are empty, except for emergency vehicles rushing to yet another blast site. For the people caught in the middle, the words, ceasefire talks, sound hollow, because every time talks begin, the bombing seems to continue. The conflict has become a test of endurance, for civilians, for leaders, and for the mediators trying to hold both sides together. But as long as bombs keep falling, the hope for peace remains distant. This is DroneStrike Command, bringing you clear, factual, and fearless coverage from around the world. Stay tuned, stay aware, and as always, keep watching the skies.